Hello, in this video, we are going to know about Docker. Actually, Docker is the first part of the DevOps things that every DevOps should know about the Docker. In this video, we create an image, use the image, connect the ports, and something like that. And in the next videos, we create a Docker file, create an image, use Kubernetes, Helm, with cloud things or the CI/CD things with all of package of the DevOps. So if we want to start the Docker, the first we should know about the Docker and the VMware. Actually, we should know about the difference between them. So if we see this image, we can see that here it's the architecture of the VMware. VMware use a hypervisor, then install whole package of the guest OS. For example, if you want to install the Windows Server, that's install the whole package of the Windows Server in the guest house. And then if you want to install the Linux, for example, Ubuntu, that's install the whole package of the Ubuntu. But in the Docker, it just use the it doesn't have the OS here. It just use some with Docker engine. It just use some of the file system in the OS that our image needs that. So it doesn't install the whole package of the OS. Just use that file system that our project needs that. And if you want to go into the Docker, here it's the docker.com, the document of the Docker. That's the architecture of the inside of the Docker. Docker, actually, the main part is the Docker daemon that listen our APIs. For example, client can call the Docker with a Docker build, and it's going to create an image for the Docker. Or it can call the Docker pool. So it's going to create the Docker pool is going to put the image in the registry. And the Docker run, when the client calls the Docker run, it's going to use the image to create a container. Here, image actually is the when we're running a container, it used an isolated file system. This custom file system is provided by this image. And the container is the runnable instance of the image. Actually, we can have one image with 10 or 5 of the container of that image. And the registry, when we want to use image, we should pull our image in some repository. The registry in the Docker is actually the repository. For example, one of the repository is a Docker hub. That's one of the Docker. For example, we have image of the Ubuntu that we can use that, or we can image of these are the official image. Actually, the company create this image. For our project, we use MongoDB. So now we can search of the Mongo. Mongo is the image of the MongoDB. For example, here it's the official image of the Mongo. We're going to use this image. So it's here some instruction of how to use, how to configure the sort of the package, and this command say that you can pull the image. When you install the Docker, you can access with some dashboard things. Here is my dashboard. That's we have the images, we have the volumes, we have the container, we can continue, or we can connect to our container with this dashboard. But we use a command line. Actually, it's easier than this dashboard. If we want to see that our container is run or not, we can run the command. That I increase the font that you can see better. Okay. For example, first we should check that we have Docker in our computer or not. We can say Docker version. This command shows that my Docker it's installed, and we can check our images in our local machine with Docker images. That's going to find all of the images. I have lots of the image here, but we are looking for the Mongo image. So we can use this command to see we have Mongo or not. Now we can see that I have one image of the Mongo, but if I don't have this image, I can just say that Docker pool Mongo. And first, it's going to check that if I have this image, that use that image. If I don't have this image, it's going to download that image for me. Now it's just checking to looking for the finding the image, and if yeah, now it's going to pulling for example the last version of the image. For example, that my image is not the latest one. So now it's go to download all of the image. And we can check if we want to check the container. For example, we can say that Docker container Docker container ls. Actually, it's okay. Container ls. It's going to check all of my container and show that to me. That's all of my container. But now we are going to create a container. For our project, we need a MongoDB. So when we pull the image of the Mongo, we're now going to create a MongoDB container and use that container to connect our project, our .NET project, or our Node.js project to that container. So now I'm going to tool, and I pause the video, and then yeah, actually my Minikube is run at my computer is went to the slow, but now it's okay. So now it's the Mongo is installed, the latest one. We can check the Docker and the Mongo. Yeah, now we can see if we check that it is changed. So if you want to create the container, we should run the run, and we should put the name for the container. For example, we want to create a MongoDB, and then we should say the port for the container. The first port is the port of our local machine. The MongoDB is 27017. And then we want to detach the image. Now, if we let's say okay, and when we say that dash d, it means that and show me just the ID, and it's not going to show me the process. And for example, if we remove the dash d, it's just show the process, and it's the container of ours is closed. After the dash d, we should say that the name of our image that we want to use for the container dash Mongo. Here I want to explain more about this port. Actually, this port talk about some because it's actually its own machine, and each container have their own container. But we want to connect this that we can use that container. For example, we connect the port of the 27017 to 27017 of our machine, the dashboard in our local machine, and connect to our container. Now I show that. Okay, it's going to create a container. So now our container is created, and this is our container. Now, if I didn't use the dash d, it's not a stop here. It's just going to show the process. So now we have a container of the MongoDB. Now, for example, we want to connect that container. We can use the Docker execute IT. It means that we can run the command and see the command, and dash IT of the MongoDB, and then connect to the bash. So when we run this command, it's going to create a container from that image. But it say that no such container of MongoDB. Actually, I forgot the G here, so I should try with that one. MongoDB. Yeah. Now, okay. Now we connect to the container. Now, actually, now we are in the container. For example, now we can connect to the some we can connect we are in the container, and now we can connect to the our Mongo. We can say that Mongo if we want to connect our MongoDB with command line, we should write let I check something here. Okay, now it's going to be fine. Yeah, Mongo. Okay, now we are connected to the Mongo. For example, if we say that show our databases, it shows that there is a database, and we want to create one database for our project. We created the database with name of the Scaly Shop or ScalyDB. Yeah, that's the name. Now we are connected to the ScalyDB, and we can create a user for this this database, something like yeah, and the user name of the user, then password of the user, we can say that the pass, and we can set the roles. We can set the roles with the, for example, actually roles. Yes. No, I don't know why that's happened. I can copy the that I have here. Yes, and now show users. Okay, now we connect the users. For example, we can create some collection here. For example, collection that insert one, and we can just say that the item item with yeah, for example, the I can insert this one. Okay, let's check I'm missing the DB collection insert one. Yeah, here I missed that. Okay, now it's good. For example, now if I exit, I can connect with my user that I created that has, and with the ScalyDB database. Say that maybe I created ScalyDB. Oh, ScalyDB here. I said that user. Okay, now connect. I show the show DBs. Now we can have a ScalyDB here. So the other things we can check. Oh, for example, we can check the from the here. Yeah, the MongoDB compass. Actually, it's a GUI. We can connect with the username password, the user pass, and ScalyDB. And here we should set our IP address. Actually, the terminal one just show the we connect in the container, but now we want to connect to the container with our local machine. So it's actually our local machine, and this is my IP here. and I can connect to that container and that MongoDB. Just it's going to waiting to connecting. Yes, now it's connect. For example, now we should see the now we can see we have a SQLDB database here, and we have one data here, and yeah, that data, that's the item that we added here. Yes, that item we added it. All of things for the Docker that needs to, for example, for the next videos, we're going to our template project, actually real project. It's the Node.js one. We use that and connect to that MongoDB to create, connect that and run the web page and something like that. So now our MongoDB is a container in the Docker. Then we're going to create some web page, front end and back end, all of them in the container, and connect all of them together. So that's the whole thing for this video.